Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Circle Up and Get Real, where we talk about things that matter with people who matter. And if you are anywhere in the vicinity of the United States of America right now, one of the topics of dialogue, conversation, debate, discussion in the last few days has been the Super Bowl halftime show. And it's really difficult to get around that because it's what many people are talking about. Not everybody, but many people. And there are so many other things that are coming up in this time in history. So before I dive in today, I want to share something about how I process things. I'm part of 4 different mastermind groups throughout the week. I have different ones that meet from Monday through Saturday. And I don't mean networking groups. These are true masterminds where we get together in a spirit of harmony so that the best part of all of us can come into the conversation. That's what Napoleon Hill called the mastermind. And those spaces have been shaping me for a long time. If you know anything about me, you know I've been doing these kinds of groups either as a participant or a facilitator for, I hate to even say how many years, since 2008-ish. So they've taught me a lot. They've taught me, among other things, to slow down, to question my own certainty, because I'm starting to understand more and more how certainty or perceived certainty kills curiosity. And if certainty shows up, there's really no need for a dialogue. And I've learned that inviting people into a dialogue, to invite, does a lot more for me and the groups I'm part of than it would if we were there to only incite, to invite instead of to incite. I've started to notice that a lot. To notice where I might be repressing something, like not saying it, instead of expressing it. We either repress or we express. And so those are the distinctions I've been noticing lately. So when something in real life, in real time happens, like the Super Bowl halftime show, boy, the internet went crazy, and probably still is going a little crazy since I invited by posting something after that Sunday evening. So I what I do typically, I do scroll, but I don't only scroll. So Sunday night, I looked for maybe 10 minutes and I noticed something. And what I noticed was 2 really distinct points of view. And so what I want to do is work through that. I want to hear from people on both sides. In this case, it felt very sided. I mean, there were maybe some middle ground. That's where I wanted to spend a lot of time, in the middle, finding out more, understanding how people came to their conclusions. So I've been paying attention to this conversation around the Super Bowl halftime show. And while the performances, because there were 2, right? The performances themselves, yes, lots to talk about there, but it wasn't necessarily that I'm most interested in and curious about. It's the certainty people had about whichever one they watched, or many times I noticed that people said, I wouldn't watch that crap about either. Sometimes you can't tell which side they're talking about. And so we're making judgments before we even know what we're judging. And that's what I find very curious. So some people are saying there were vulgar lyrics in the Bad Bunny one. Others are saying there weren't. Some were looking at the alternative show and saying it was shot in North Dakota, which I don't know where that came from. And I mean, I looked it up and it's in Georgia. But there are questions about what was live, what wasn't, was it lip synced, all this, and somewhere in all of that, it came back to me that how do we know what we know? Like, how do we know what we're even watching or seeing? And how do we decide? And so those are what I want to talk about. Those kinds of things are what I want to talk about today. So I've been watching about this, and the narratives that people have, it seems to me in some cases will validate what they already believe. Like I said earlier, some people didn't even watch the other one, whichever one, was their one of choice. And it was really interesting to see how you can make a judgment about something you didn't even watch or didn't even see. And I watched both because I'm trying so hard not to polarize. I want to learn. I want to stay above the line. So if we look at the facts that I have tried to find, the original songs that Bad Bunny sang, the original songs, they contain explicit lyrics. They do. The broadcast performance on the other side was reportedly edited. So some of it was live and some of it wasn't. There's no official line by line transcript that I've seen yet of Bad Bunny's performance. Uh, the alternative production I've seen some places contained pre-recorded elements. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm just noticing. And then that confusion about where it was shot, I mentioned earlier. And I just noticed because I live in North Dakota. So I noticed that when I think it was a senator or a congressperson wrote something and said it was shot at a college or a university in North Dakota. And if you know this, let me know because I don't think that's true, but I don't know. So in all of that, there is fact, of course. There's fact somewhere, but there's also interpretation, assumption, outrage, opinion. It all got melded together in that. And that's where I see we have challenges. Now, you can pick any subject you want to, and we probably have the same challenges about anything that's going on and ever has, probably. So I'm not talking about the specifics here. I'm talking about how we live in this society where video clips, short snippets of something will travel way faster and are way sexier than actual content. So we've got opinions flying around all over the place that either have or haven't been validated as well as we can validate them. Um, I don't know that we have a ton of places even that we can go to fact check because there's always somebody saying, well, that source has a, a vested interest. So where do you go to fact check anything? I think that's been tough too. It seems these days as if we don't really watch events or watch performances. We're thinking in the back of our mind, ooh, is there a gotcha bomb in here somewhere? Is there something I can interpret instead of enjoy? Just be in it, be with it. And that's probably the truth. I hate that. I remember I saw Oprah many years ago now. I can't even remember what year it was, 2015 maybe, on her tour. And I remember taking pictures of Oprah at this event and taking a picture of me with Oprah. And one of my friends, I was putting it online and I was saying, look, I'm here back then. And she said, stop it. Put your camera down and enjoy the event. Stop it. And I think part of that for me in looking back on the reason that I share anything, the reason I do this podcast, the reason I do anything as I'm starting to break it down for myself is because more than anything, I want connection. If I was at that Oprah event by myself, I went by myself because I really wanted to go and I didn't want to wait for somebody to decide if they wanted to come with me. And yet I wanted to share it with someone. I wanted to share it with my friends. So I know for me, my big why is connection. And even if people are disagreeing with how I interpret things, at least we have a connection and we can talk about it. And I can go, oh man, I never thought about it from your perspective. Tell me more about that. Oh yeah. I can see how you might feel that way. That's how I want to connect. I'm not here to go, let me hear what you said so that I can call you a name. It just doesn't make sense to me. So all of this is my attempt every day to stay above the line, open, curious, committed to learning. Because below the line, unconscious, we're unconscious. We don't even know we're doing it when we get into that closed, defensive, and committed to being right mindset. We don't know we're doing it. It's unconscious. So it's going to take effort to come above the line because it's easy to stay where gravity wants to pull us. To me, again, me, this is my podcast, so I can say what I want, I guess. To me, it's way more exciting and fun and engaging to ask questions so that I can learn from other people. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't think I am, but maybe I am. So to me, there's a difference, a distinction between the act of thinking and the art of thought. The act of thinking and the art of thought. That comes from another study I've been doing. I'm not going to throw out all these titles because I've been told that that seems a little overkill. So I think sometimes we can either respond or react, right? We can respond or react. We respond because we've thought and discerned. We react because we're emotional. And so below the line seems to be a place where a lot of reaction happens, emotion happens. And it's really difficult to bring logic to an emotional situation because they don't coexist. Reaction comes from emotion, response comes from thought. They're not the same parts even of our physical body. And so when we try to bring logic to an emotional conversation, it's a vibrational mismatch. It can happen. So I know certainty feels good. Certainty feels good. Like, yes, I knew it. I knew I was right. That's what below the line does. Certainty. We want certainty. We want somebody to tell us what is the right thing. And I think bigger than that, sometimes we crave certainty so we don't have to be responsible for our own interpretation of the things we're observing. It's so much easier to ask somebody else, how did you see it? So that you can take, oh yeah, okay, that's how we see it on our side of the aisle or in our group or whatever. And then we don't really have to discern for ourselves. It's easy, it's simple. We crave certainty. I get it, I understand. But the world I live in, and I think we all live in, isn't a certainty. There isn't a certainty here. There isn't a one right way. There isn't a black or a white way to see things. At least it's gray. You know, there's a combination of black and white. I'd like to believe it's technicolor. I'd like to believe there's way more than just black or just white. And sometimes I see things in Technicolor and I think, oh, that's so amazing. I'd love to share that with somebody. And then somebody who is in that black or white space says, well, what are you, stupid? What are you, stupid? What are you thinking? That's stupid. If they don't say, what are you thinking? I don't think very often. But it's so interesting to me to observe that and to just not get caught up in the right or the wrong of things, but to observe and say, okay, I'm wondering if that's what it looks like from your perspective. Could you tell me more about that? But so few people have practiced that, so they don't know how to do that. Kathy, thanks, Jodee Bach. For me, the halftime show didn't really matter. I chose to focus my energy and attention on what mattered to me, listening while getting halftime snacks from the kitchen. I love it. Yes, Kathy. Yes. For me, it's about what matters in time. And that's your platform, Kathy. That's what you're working on. And you are so consistent in that. And I love that about you. And not getting caught up in all the things that don't need our time and attention is so wise. And for me, sometimes I wonder, why do I care? Why does it matter? I don't know. I don't know why it matters, except that I'm so curious and I want to understand people's perspective. So I'm curious. I'm curious, Kathy. What was the rationale behind creating an alternative halftime before we'd even seen the original one? And I'm just curious, what does it say about trust in our shared institutions? That something's missing, and I kind of think it's trust. And I see this a lot. I see this a lot when people don't feel safe. I feel that sometimes. I feel that even in this podcast because I know there will be somebody who has an alternative point of view and will want to shoot me down and prove me wrong. And I get that. I understand that. So, David, the outrage is strictly performance. That is such an interesting perspective, David. All the outrage is strictly performance. Could you say more about that, David? I have my own interpretation of what you mean by performance, but I'd love more context about that. If and I'm gonna hold my comment till you say something more about that, David. What I see, what I witness is a lot of fragmentation, which then is a silo or a hill we can stand on, or whatever, however you want to say that. We used to gather around. I mean, I know back. I'm going to show my age here, but we used to have like three channels, right? And we'd go, Walter Cronkite's the guy. And everybody trusted, and we watched the same stuff. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's how it used to be. And I'm not even wishing it could be that again. But that makes discernment, our own process of discernment, even more important. Like, how personally do you discern? And by the way, I'll give you my interpretation of discernment. To me, discernment, and again, to me, I could be wrong about this. Discernment is inviting my head, my heart, and my gut into the consideration. My intellect, my intuition, and my instinct. I'm working to invite all three. If I can gather information in my head, feel it. How does this feel to me? What feels right? And then get into that fight, flight, freeze, fawn space of my gut, my instinct, and say, is there anything here that I'm not feeling safe about? If I can line all three of those up, that's how I define discernment. And situations like this call for discernment. They don't call for performance, David, right? I think the outrage you're saying is strictly performance. I'm going to look and see if you put another comment here, David, because I really appreciate that perspective. That's the problem with being here on live, and I don't get everybody's comments all the time, but that's a good one. Um, I don't know. I don't know everything, obviously, and I'm okay with saying I don't know everything, because to me, that's how I learn. So I'm trying to discipline myself to not react too quickly. And I probably told you this on a previous podcast, but a couple weeks ago, I got involved in an online project. And for the most part, I felt like I did pretty well. And there was one comment I put out there that was completely reactive. I can tell you what it is. I can tell you one guy was telling me how I was wrong and explaining to me in like short sentences as if I were, not very intelligent. And he was breaking it down and giving me one word sentences. And at the end of it was pretty long. I'll tell you why you're wrong, basically, was what he was saying to me. I said, oh, thank you for mansplaining that to me. And I spelled TWO. That was completely reactive. I did not think about that. My fingers typed that. And as soon as I typed that and put it out there, ooh, yeah, that incited. Didn't invite, it incited. I didn't remove it. I didn't cancel it. I didn't delete it because that's where I was in the moment. And wow, a lot of other comments came from that. By the way, this was on a international probably, site. I didn't know any of these people, but it was a very interesting project for me. But I'm just curious about you all, and thinking of the Super Bowl halftime as one platform that we can talk about. How do you decide what's true? How do you decide for yourself what's true? And I'm wondering if the people who are curious enough to even hear me say above and below the line would say, well, wait a second, what are you talking about? How do you decide what's true? What? What do you mean? There's where the curiosity takes over from the certainty. Wait a second, what? You mean there could be another way? That's where curiosity starts to come into the conversation. And I wonder, again, I could be wrong about this, but I wonder if that's where people get really threatened. I've been asked to leave organizations and memberships, things I've belonged to, I thought I belonged to, I thought I belonged in and with, and I've been asked to leave. I think it's because I asked too many questions. I don't know that because the people I've been asked to leave from don't invite a conversation with me after they ask me to leave. And so, I can't really learn myself. I only have my own hunches. My advice, which you're not asking for, but my advice would be check your hunches. Do what you can to find facts, even if it's difficult. Because if we only act on hunches, I bet this is what it is. That's opinion. That's not fact. I bet he's mad because of X. Well, if you bet it, it's not a fact. I wonder is not a fact either. And to me, I wonder can open a dialogue. It can. It may not, but it could. I wonder if this is what that person is thinking. You know, we had this conversation last night. I spoke at an event in my hometown last night for my Lisbon business associations, and we were talking about what we were noticing in Fargo, which is an hour away from Lisbon. So people come to Fargo often, and I live in Fargo. And I was noticing that cars, as we're driving, are starting to stop at stoplights with for a bigger gap in front of them than they used to in the past. I still go right up, not right up, but I go up to the car in front of me, and I'm noticing a lot that cars are stopping a lot further away. And I just mentioned that I was noticing, and one person in the room said, I've noticed that too. I was just in Fargo last week and I thought the same thing. So I'm wondering, oh, I could draw a conclusion, my own conclusion. The person last night said she was in the military, and she said, you're always situational awareness. You're aware of your surroundings, and you're aware of how you need to be safe and protect yourself. And she said, I kind of started wondering if that was it. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't, maybe it's icy. Maybe they don't want to slide into the car in front of them. It wasn't icy yesterday, though. So I was just curious. So, how do you check yourself before you react? Do you check yourself before you react? Once you react, what do you do? When you react from emotion instead of respond from thinking, what do you do? Do you own it or not? I mean, that these are the conversations that I'd love to have more often. What would it look like, feel like, sound like if you stayed curious a little bit longer? Or what would it look, sound, feel like if you started getting curious at all and said, I wonder what it would look like from that perspective? We did that last night too. We walked around the room, and I walked around the room and I said, oh, from your perspective, you see the exit sign. From my perspective, when I was standing over here, I didn't notice that. We could have had a fight about whether there was an exit sign in this room because my perspective at first didn't show it. And I think sometimes we do that. What are you, crazy? What are you, stupid? We add a lot of qualifiers in there that aren't probably kind. Huh, maybe that's it. Kindness. Kindness. So maybe this whole Super Bowl thing, this Super Bowl halftime thing, the whole thing, the whole gamut, wasn't about what was on the field or in the studio. It was about how we responded to it, and whether we did respond and whether we reacted. I'm really less interested in being right about any of this. I've given that up a long time ago. I could be wrong about everything. And if I'm wrong from your perspective, if I have not checked the facts, if you can show me something that I didn't know, please do. Please share that with me. This is the only way I will learn and get better. And yet, if people don't do that because they're afraid of whatever, I'm left to my own devices. I'm left to say, I wonder if it's this. I wonder if it's this. I wonder if it's this. And then I have all these stories in my head that I can't validate or verify. Please come to the table with me and have a dialogue where we agree to suspend previous assumptions in order to learn from each other. Wouldn't that be amazing? In our workplaces, in our families, in our communities, in our churches, I mean, all over. What if we could just say, tell me more about that? That's really fascinating, David. I wish you would tell me about all the outrageous Strictly performance because I'd really like to learn about that. Performance. It's not real then? If a performance is just what I'm supposed to do and what people expect of me or what, I don't know, my society says I should. We should all over ourselves, either by our own past or someone's present that we've never validated. They think I should. I guess I should. All of that, I don't know if that's true. If it's all performance, the outrageous performance, because it's more fun maybe to get mad and poke at somebody and throw a gotcha bomb at somebody and then run away and see what happens. Kathy says when we step into noticing, wondering what something looks, sounds, feels like, it becomes observable, describable, measures. It seems the point where possibility comes to life. Yeah, Kathy, yeah. Where possibility comes to life. And then in that possibility, everything is available. In possibility, everything's available. Maybe not everything's certain, But if we're craving certainty over possibility, that would make some sense to me. If people crave certainty, I need to know exactly what this means, what I should do, what they meant when they said that. I understand the black and the white. And please don't hear that as a racial, oh my gosh. See, everything, there's this, I don't know. I'm saying on the color spectrum, paint, let's talk about paint. Black paint and white paint together make gray. They make a shade of gray depending on how much of each color you put in. So in that space of gray, okay, that's good. That's a combination. And I'm looking at color. I'm looking at the three primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, that we can create every single other color from. And then we add the shades of black and white to make it even more rich. What's wrong with that? Possibility comes to life. And if it's all a performance for now, then let's just enjoy the performance. Let's not get caught up in it. Let's see it for what it is. And let's stop treating our humans as objects everywhere. Let's stop doing that, maybe. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm telling you that this is what I'm hearing myself say right now. Let's stop treating, Jodee, our people as objects. I don't think I do that because I'm really committed to kindness, but I mess up. I mess up all the time. You can count on me to own when I mess up. And so thank you for helping correct me when I mess up. And thank you for even for telling me that I'm stupid or that I, because I have a perspective I have, I've had conversations recently with people in that space too. I can't believe you fell for this. I can't believe you're one of them. I can't believe and them being whoever you're not, because people, when I ask questions, they think I'm the other. And I'm so sick of othering people. Let's come together. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have coffee. Let's learn from each other. We don't have to be in physical proximity to do that. It's nice. And if we live in a community, all of us live somewhere. Each of us lives somewhere. Let's get together with our people. David, I know you do that in your community. You get together on what, Mondays? Monday afternoons? I love that. Let's be with our people. And let's challenge our people. Let's challenge our people. Let's say, hey, maybe we don't see it all. Maybe there's more to this than we all see. What if there is? What if there's more to this? The world can be a pretty dark place. And since I'm, making my way through this book, The Fourth Turning is Here, not a real pleasant read. It's about history and it's about the turnings of historical generations and how, we're in the fourth turning of this current generation. And that means that we're in the winter. And it means that we have to break down before we can break through. I wouldn't choose to be in the winter of this historical period we're in because I prefer the summer and the spring. Spring is coming. It just may not be coming for a while. They say in the book it's about 2030-ish. I wish it were tomorrow, and it's not. So what do I do? Be mad about what's not? Or do I do the best I can with what I know where I am? Thank you, Theodore Roosevelt. We have choices. Never forget you have choice. Never forget you have agency over your own life. And if you want to learn and grow and stay above the line as much as possible, find those people. They are out there. And if you're unconscious, you're probably not listening to this podcast. So, Kristen, I was playing with telestrations with a big group of people with the Super Bowl playing in the background. We were just having a great time being present in the moment. Didn't really pay attention to the TV. Oh, what a great reminder. Being present in the moment. Being present in the moment. I watched the Olympics yesterday. I watched a little bit of the curling. And oh, that was so joyful. And I had to leave the curling. That wasn't over yet. I didn't know what happened. Our American curlers got silver. Yay. Oh, so fun. I went to lunch and I missed what happened. And the lunch I had was so amazing. 90 minutes of dialogue and deep and a great salad and really great interaction with somebody I didn't know I had just met. And you're my people. Oh, you know who you are. Oh, I had so much fun yesterday, Carl Martin. So I just said it quickly. You were such a fun lunch date. I learned a lot about each other. Melissa says, our curlers are still my favorite curlers. They were so great. Corey. Love the Corey team. The Olympics has a way of doing that, doesn't it? Just bringing us together in the moment. Kristen, thank you for reminding us of that. Melissa says, you're the epicenter of chill out and getting real. Would love a Zoom to reconnect with everyone. Maybe this could be the start of something next. I love that. I used to do an in-person event called Chill Out for 3 years. I brought people together. It was very fun. And it's exhausting for me because it's not the best use of my talents and gifts to plan it. I love being in the moment of things. I'm not the best at the details of things. So that ended up just really draining me so that I didn't really have what I wanted to have for the event itself. But I love what you say, Melissa. Maybe there's the start of something next. And it could be a Zoom. It doesn't have to be in person. Because so many amazing humans live outside of my physical location, and I'm sure that's true for any of us. So maybe there's something coming next. I love that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for being in my world. Thank you for listening. Providing me the space to speak into even when I don't have a guest. And by the way, if you didn't hear last week's podcast, please go find it. It was with Jake Lures, such a raw and real conversation. Find Jake. He's one of he's just a good human. And I know we're all there. All of us have goodness in us. And if we can just remember that, even when the people on the surface are calling you names and calling you stupid and calling you words that I won't repeat, because that's what I got called during that experiment online. Don't let the online people get you down. I'm learning that there are lots of bots and trolls out there, and their job, like you said, David, is just to incite. It's all a performance. So find your humans, squeeze them tight, tell them how much you love them. Thank you, Melissa. I love you too. Jackie, so much agree. People are not abstractions, and I think it's easy to see the people I disagree with that way. We all have to remember they are our workers, our customers, our neighbors, and our community. I'm going to get teary, Jackie. Because when you see the humans that way, Jackie, you can see beyond the behaviors and the performance. The performance is a should because I have to, because I'm on a stage, because I'm afraid to show my truth. And Jackie, when we say that, we can see them. They are our workers, our customers, our neighbors, and our community, and they're doing the best they can with what they know. And if the statistics from the 15 commitments of conscious leadership are correct for more than the clients the authors work with, 95% of people spend 98% of their time below the line in unconsciousness, where they feel that they have to defend. They're closed, defensive, and committed to being right. And if that's the energy they're in, is it any wonder they come out swinging when they feel offended against? Ed, I watched both. I personally watch Latin music videos almost daily, so I am familiar with Bad Bunny. I was fine with him performing. However, I question the level of family entertainment. At the end of the podcast, this is where we could have gotten at the beginning. So, some lyrics, and we've got them here, and I can show you the lyrics. I'm not going to say them, but they're here. So, yeah, thanks, Ed, for that. I would like to some lyrics that he was performing, and you might know this, Ed. My question was earlier: did he perform at the halftime with the lyrics of the songs he's been singing forever? I'm not sure because I don't speak Spanish. So, Ed, did he actually say these words, which I'm not going to repeat? Did he say these words during the performance? Because if so, yes, I agree with you. That's not family friendly, even for people who do speak. I mean, especially for people who do speak Spanish. If he, as most performers, apparently, I can't verify this. I only know that I did my best to do some research before I came on here and learned that many performers, when they are doing live performances, will censor their explicit lyrics. I don't know if Bad Bunny did that or not, Ed. I don't know. So if you can verify that this is actually what he said, I would like that. So thanks everybody for being here and for offering all your perspectives, all of them. You know, Ed's too. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody. Take care. And as always, go find a way to get real in your world today. Radical, energized, authentic, and learning focused. Don't let what the world has hijacked the word radical to mean take you off the way I intend it. Radical to me is getting back to the root. That's the first definition of the word radical. Finding what is really at the heart of you, us. Go to the root. Don't let it get the third definition, which is the one most people hear these days, because that's not what I intend. I'll just read it for you. Of relating to or proceeding from a root, such as the root of a plant, the base of a stem, from a root-like stem, or from a stem that does not rise above the ground. That's A, 1A definition. Of relating to or constituting a linguistic root. That came from Latin, or that came from Germanic. The second one is of or relating to the origin, fundamental. And the third one is very different from the usual or traditional, extreme. Let's get radical in the first and second definitions. Energized, what brings you energy? What brings you positive energy? Authentic, be you, put it out there. And then if we can stay learning focused, we will stay above the line because we will be open, curious, and committed to learning. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Kathy again. Thank you, David. You guys, you make this a way more fun conversation when you participate. I appreciate it. Thank you. See you next week.